Hello everyone and welcome to Violin Axioms, where we break down string technique into the basic building blocks or axioms of how to play and then use those to improve. To make sure that you get as many of these axioms and understand them and know how to work on them, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and you'll have access to a whole bunch of these ideas that I hope you can build into your practice and into your performing and practice habits. Okay, today we're doing 5 axioms or 5 ideas for better concentration and confidence. So these are kind of long-term mental habits that I hope would improve your concentration and confidence. Okay, one of the things that's really different about being a musician from most other disciplines is that you have to be able to do what you have to be able to think in time or in a tempo, right? Think about how the creative process works for most creatives, and in fact for most intellectual behavior generally. Not even that. If I want to go out and mow my lawn, I'm free to do that however I want. If I want to paint a painting, I can dabble for 15 minutes or all day or whatever. I can just work on it until I'm done. That's also true for us practicing, but when we perform, the thinking has to be sequenced, and it has to be sequenced exactly in time. There's no other exam that I can think of that's like that, where the exam is in time. So this means that you should really be training your mind to think rhythmically. So this means practicing with a metronome a lot, with varying tempos and various rhythms to help you learn to get fluency and to move rhythmically and without hesitation. Hesitation is one of our biggest enemies. Okay, so axiom number 1 is learn to think in tempo. Now, admittedly, some things are easy and some things are not easy. So sometimes we have to have maybe a little extra time to get something done, but eventually we have to be able to transcend that extra time and actually do it in the tempo. One of the best ways to help yourself to think in tempo, even when maybe you can't quite manage to think in a flowing tempo yet, is something I call add a beat to add a thought. And it means that I don't want to really interrupt the flow of the rhythm, but if my mind needs more time, I'll just take a beat, or maybe 2 beats if I need it, of thinking to get my mind ready to do the next thing, and then play it. And then eventually I'm going to wean myself off of that extra beat so that I can just play. Okay, let me give you an example from a piece that we did in a previous video on memory. We used the Fantasia number 10 for unaccompanied violin. It comes from a set of 12, the 12 Fantasias for unaccompanied violin by Georg Philipp Telemann. And one of the things that I've discovered folks have some trouble with is getting from measure 14 to measure 15. There's one is moving pretty quickly in eighth notes and then has to jump to a double stop. Okay, so I'm going to feign having trouble with this right now and then show you what I mean by add a beat to add a thought. Okay, here's I'm putting this at half note equals 80. And I'm starting from bar 13. 1, 2. Okay, so getting to that double stop might be a little bit tricky. So I'm going to just add a beat right before I play it. Of course, I could go slower too if I needed to, but still in a tempo, if not the tempo. So again, I'm just going to demonstrate that. I added one single beat in order to help get myself ready. I'm going to add 2 beats this time, just in case it's proving even more difficult. Maybe I want to start with the 2 beats like that. And then I weed out one of them. Finally, okay, so add a beat to add a thought is a great way to sort of build your confidence for something you might be unsure about. Of course, you could also do other things first, like practice much more slowly, but that allows your memory to keep flowing, and eventually you can get it to flow faster. Add a beat to add a thought. Okay. Axiom number 2 is to keep your eyes on the fingerboard. And the idea here is just that when you're playing, where your eyes go, your concentration goes. So if you're people who have shifty eyes, right, often their concentration is, has to be darting around for whatever reason. Sometimes there's very good reasons for that. Like if you're driving a car, your eyes should be moving around because you're assessing risks and dangers and where you're going and so on. So, but here, where we're trying, all of what we're doing is located right in our line of sight. One of the best ways to make sure that we're just always on with concentration is to keep our eyes on the fingerboard, okay? Where your eyes go, your mind goes also. So in your practice and in your performance, keep your eyes in one place. One thing you'll notice is that if you start to lose your concentration or start to lose your confidence, your eyes will tend to move away, and they will typically tend to move up and to the left. This is what I like to call the spelling bee phenomenon, where whenever kids are asked to spell a word, they will typically look up and to the left because your eyes, when they cross hemispheres like that, they're accessing information. It's paired to the way your mind works for reasons I won't get into. But I will also tell you, it doesn't help on the violin. So keep your eyes on the fingerboard. What you can also do here is what I call the dog command method. And it's also related to the eye control thing. So when we ask people to do things, or especially if we ask our pets to do things like to sit or whatever, it is much more, you'll be much more successful if you look your pet in the eye, if you look your child or your spouse in the eye and say, I need this from you, I want that. Looking in the eye, the reason for this is that the eyes are connected directly to the brain. So there is no intermediary. My sense of touch, my sense of hearing, everything goes to my spinal cord, but my eyes go straight to my brain. So if I send a command with my eyes, if I look at my fingerboard and say, I'm going here, and I look at the place I need to be, or say down bow, or stay staccato in my eyes to my instrument, it is more, my own fingers are more likely to obey the command, just like my pets are more likely to sit or roll over or whatever, if I look them in the eyes as I give the command. They understand, it goes straight to their brain, and my hands, if I look at them, it goes straight to my hand's brain as well, and they're much more compliant. So say exactly what you want in tempo and look at the thing that you want to do, and it will tend to happen. Okay, so keep your eyes on the fingerboard and use the dog command method as you do it. All right. Third thing for building better concentration and confidence: do the right thing way more than the wrong thing. Okay, this is obvious, right? If you are failing half the time or more than half the time, there's no way to be confident about something. So if you're failing, I'd say more than 40% of the time. So if 3 out of the 5 aren't right, you should be finding something simpler to do. So take the rhythm out, take a complicated bowing out, go slower, whatever it is that requires less effort until you can master that thing and get it up to 80% or 90%. And when that is mastered at 80% or 90%, then you can increase the tempo again, or do the original bowing, or add the other hand if you're a pianist, or whatever it might be. Make sure that you are doing things almost always correctly and right, and relatively effortlessly before you add more weight, so to speak. Okay. And one final thing about that, do it right much more than wrong, is that when you're getting closer to the actual performance and really can do the piece, and are finding yourself in a place like, oh, I can do this confidently, then maybe it's time to start feeding confidence in excess of what you actually need to perform, because it's easy to get a little bit jittery and excited, and maybe our concentration isn't always at peak form, especially when performing in front of others. So one of the ways that you can work on that is to actually then make what you practice more difficult than what you actually intend to perform. And a great way to do this, for example, is just play the thing, the piece or the phrase or whatever it is, play it with a higher speed. Say, practice it with a faster speed than you intend to do, but make sure that it's still got the beauty, the ease. Build it up so that that faster tempo is also easy, and then you'll have a really good time when you actually perform, because you will have a reserve of power. Okay, number 4 for better concentration and confidence. It's important, I think, as we were talking about eyes, keeping your eyes on the fingerboard, it's also important to focus on what you want and not what you fear. If you are afraid of something and worried about it, the chances of it going wrong go up tremendously. So it's very, very important that you not allow yourself to think about what you don't want, only about what you do want. As an analogy, I like to think about driving. So maybe some of you, well, all of you in driver's ed know, who took driver's ed, don't look at the ditch when you're driving, right? Look straight in front of you where you want to go. Figure out what's the marker on the front of your hood that keeps you in the middle of the lane, and stay there. Look at where you want to go, not where you don't want to go. So when we're performing as well, we want to always sort of say, yes, I know, yes, yes, yes. And maybe to start with, if you're very unsure of yourself, to literally say that word every time you come to a new gesture or a new bar line or something like that. Send the commands confidently. I like to use accents to help me. Accents help me play confidently. So just being sure that you are focused on what you want to have happen, and fill up your consciousness only with that. Don't let the consciousness of fear interfere with the process of doing what you need to get done. Okay, and then our final axiom for more concentration and confidence is to just perform a lot, okay? We talked last time about thinking about memory as starting by memorizing easier music, and then later, once you're mastering learning and memorizing, then memorize more difficult music. The same goes with what pieces you choose to learn, right? Nobody wants to hear what you can't do. So practice and learn and perform the pieces that you can do. So always go out with the mind of, what is my audience going to want to hear? So we all want to hear what you can do. We want you to be fabulous. So come and show us what you can do. Don't show us what you can't do. You'll irritate your audience and you'll harm your self-image, okay? That's for the practice room, but it's not for the stage. Okay, and the second idea is to start with easy venues and to go to hard venues, more difficult venues, okay? You've all heard the old joke, right? How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. I have a little modified version of that joke. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Basically by playing in every other hall in the country first, and working in gradients to get up to that pinnacle of Carnegie Hall. So start by just playing for your phone or the video camera and play it back to yourself, and you'll get some feedback there. Or play it for your parents, or play it for your spouse or partner or children or whatever it might be, a really easy audience. And from there, maybe go to your local community center or your local church or your local retirement community, something like that, performing there. Then on a slightly bigger local stage, play in front of a teacher, because that will also add a layer of stress, and so on, until you've made yourself into performing in these other venues. And then by the time you've done that several times, you've set yourself up for success. You've got the confidence and the concentration to walk out on Carnegie Hall stage and perform just like you always do. All right, hope you enjoyed today's video, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.